Um, so, um, so I think I have about 10 minutes here, so I'll make this quick. I have a few slides to present, and most of my the focus will be on the demo itself. So, going to share my. I'm going to go full screen here. So thanks again. So quick overview of what we do. We apply AI to solve many of the ESG challenges you've heard from Alex and the other speakers today. Essentially helping investors evaluate how material ESG claims are. Essentially, this is sort of greenwash detection, if you will. Being able to rank different claims by materiality, determine which companies are saying what and how legitimate those claims are. And ultimately, this helps investors better allocate their portfolios, which is critical in terms of investment returns, but also aligning their portfolios with the needs of their clients, which is very, very important. This also reduces investment risks and helps asset managers better engage with stakeholders. And these are clients that give their money to invest. These are regulators, or these are the companies themselves. And we do this essentially using AI. We're able to automatically and transparently analyze and benchmark disclosures and performance using some very advanced AI techniques to essentially automate the benchmarking process. Background on the company, we are a team of former Amazon, Microsoft research and Google scientists. We have about over 40 years experience in AI. So we've been working in AI and natural language processing for a long, long time. We've gotten a lot of recognition in the industry, including winning the Best of Show award at the AI Connects, most prestigious AI award in the entire industry. We beat out Google, Microsoft, Facebook, all the big giants to win the award. We're only one of the few startups that have ever won that award, by the way. And also we were named one of the top 100 companies in global wealth tech, not just last year, but and also this year. We were just notified about that just very recently. So I won't spend too much time on this. I'm sure you're aware of the numbers in terms of the growth in ESG, projected to hit 53 trillion in a few years, which is about a third of global assets under management. It's growing really, really quickly. It's essentially exponentially, as you see on the chart on the left. And as one of the speakers said earlier on, this is driven by millennials that are now insisting that ESG be taken into account in how their money gets invested. Now, there are many challenges, both on the investor side, on the corporate side. I'm going to focus on the investor side, even though we address both. One, and Alex and others have said this, you don't have any standards of disclosure. It's not like a balance sheet or a P&L where you can compare two different companies using adjusted EBITDA and all those metrics that have been developed over many, many years. There's no such thing in ESG. So it's really hard to benchmark and know exactly how to compare companies. You don't have transparency, which also hurts. A lot of the existing models and ways by which companies are being evaluated are not transparent at all. It's a black box. That makes greenwashing more of an issue. It's hard to even tell who is greenwashing and who is not. According to BlackRock, less than 15% of all the disclosures are material, which means 85% are being greenwashed. And even the ratings providers, are very inconsistent. They don't publish their methodologies. It's also another black box, which also exacerbates the problem. So according to research, over 60% of investors in a large survey done by Schroders said that greenwashing was a huge obstacle to how they invest sustainably. And about half of them also said that lack of transparency was restricting their ability to invest sustainably. So this is a big, big problem in the entire industry. And it impedes their ability to invest sustainably, which also impedes allocating in a more sustainable way. Because if they want to be able to know that what their investments are based on are legitimate data, so they can make the best investment decisions accordingly. According to an MIT study, you have many, many hundreds of ratings agencies, but the correlation across all the providers is only with 0.3, which is really, really poor, which is less than a coin flip, which means that the probability of you seeing two different ratings of the same company is less than a coin flip. The odds, most likely, they're going to be totally different. Even if you look at the top 5 providers, it's just 0.61, which is really, really low as well. Compare that with credit agencies or even your credit score for consumers, right? You can take Equifax and TransUnion, and oftentimes they're really, really close, right? Same thing with credit ratings by S&P and Moody's, but that's not the case with the ESGs. So let's take an example of Tesla, right? You get MSCI on the left, it says Tesla is above average. They get an A, but on the right, there's Sustainalytics, they get a high risk, which is really, really poor. So which one should we believe, right? So if I'm an investor, should I include them in the portfolio? Should I not? How do I get the underlying data by which I can make that investment determination and engage my stakeholders therefrom? So the implications are huge, right? You have, you can't engage clients and stakeholders and prove to them the basis upon which you're making investment decisions, which ultimately affects assets under management. That way you lose clients' trust. It affects how portfolios are allocated, which affects stewardship of clients' money. And of course, there's regulatory risk, because now in the EU and even whispers are in the US, it's imminent that regulators are frowning on false advertising, where you have a lot of ESG funds that are actually not doing any ESG because of greenwashing, right? So this also exposes them to regulatory risk. So what we do essentially is automate the analysis in a very, very transparent way. Think about it as a super transparent benchmarking, right? We analyze all the reports, 500-page PDFs, 1,000-page PDFs, it doesn't matter. Earnings calls, webcasts, filings, and our AI engine analyzes all this and produces automatically what's called a gap analysis. So you can benchmark and see where companies need to improve. You can see which companies are doing what, and specifically why the companies are doing well or poorly. But most critically is what we call smart talking points, right? Where you get the underlying talking points, which we extract automatically, which allow you to explain in a very transparent way the basis for which your investment decisions are being made. And these talking points are ranked by materiality, and that's also done automatically to address the greenwashing problem. So I'm going to switch over and so again, to recap, those are all the benefits. You get full transparency, it's fully explainable, which is critical in terms of client trust and also compliance. It's fully customizable, like I just said. It's actionable. So I can keep clicking and actually following up on everything that I see. It's not like I get some opaque piece of data and then I don't know what to do. I can keep going forward. Semantics, I talked about that. It knows the difference. It knows when certain things are expressed in different ways. And that's a big problem. Even think about the word lead. Is it lead or is it lead? Is it lead pollution or is it lead? Is it waste or waste? Is it environment or the environment? Is it climate or is it talking about the climate, right? It's a big, big issue. And then we do materiality analysis in, on limited scale. You can benchmark 5 companies or 5,000 companies. You can benchmark fixed income, or you can benchmark equities. You can benchmark your own customer reports as well. And all the benefits in terms of improved decision support for investors, better stewardship of clients' money, right? It's their money if you're an investor. Lower investment risk, but better portfolio allocation, which improves alpha, and even at the very minimum, even beta, and just keeping track of what the best in ESG is doing. Stakeholder engagement, like I said, with clients, with regulators, with internal teams, even being able to explain to internal teams why something should be included or excluded, right? Growing assets under management, and like I said earlier, boosting regulatory compliance. So thank you very much for your time, and please feel free, if you want to learn more, website is weave.ai, and we'd love to hear from you.